because OnlyFans is that lucrative and so many people seem to be doing it. Mate, if I was a fit bird, I'd be all over it.
That's a big if, Mark.
Everyone has a story like that, and as soon as you get that little nugget of information off them and you hear about that, it's completely different to where you thought it was going to go.
Another person who opened up quite a lot, I think, on the show, where talking about his battle with drink and, you know, almost losing his family. And
Number 3.
How good was that episode?
Well, not good enough, apparently.
No, it was so good.
You've confused me.
You went to year 2 and 1 then?
Yeah, I don't know if enjoy, we said this afterwards, I don't know what word you'd use other than I'm glad I watched it. Yeah. And I kept it afterwards because it was too good a bottle to throw away.
You weed in it?
Yeah.
And have you drank out of it since?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mate, this thing cost me about £12.
I don't care, 12, mate. I would give you £12.
You know? No.
Go on then, Al. Swing us in.
So it is a end of year wrap.
Yeah.
Would you say?
An overview.
It's another year gone. 2024 is about to be in the rear view headlight. Rear view mirror.
Review mirror.
I'll get there.
PV drivers, mate. PV drivers.
So we thought we'd do a little wrap up, a sort of go over of the past year that we've done on the Trade Legends. Some of the shows that we really like, some of the standout moments, and some of the cool people that we've met. So we wanted to do a little recap. Jack's going to do some intersections.
Yeah, we bought
I'm
Jack
not actually
in.
messing with myself. My cable is slightly...
So for anyone that's watching that hasn't been on the show, Jack is the guy that usually sits that side, what do? Just you press a button, basically.
Twiddles knobs. Twiddles
It
knobs.
depends how good the episode is. If the episode's really interesting, I will pay full attention.
Yeah.
If it's less interesting, I still pay full attention, of course.
Yeah. That's it. Is that what you do?
That's all I
press
do.
a button and what?
I do considerably. It's become a lot more streamlined the longer we've gone on. Back in the day, I'd film everything live, and I'd be doing the live. He's talking, but I'd always, because you always miss it. And then I thought, I've got all the backup cameras. We'll put it in a bit of software. I let the software do it for me.
AI doing it.
Yeah.
So
Because otherwise, we couldn't do one a week.
So for anybody watching or listening that is wanting to do their own podcast, it's called Autopod. I'll give that little secret away for you. Yeah. And it basically does...
That cuts between the cameras, me, you, Al.
So everyone has their own audio line, and the cameras, you link them so that when there's a spike, they think, oh, Mark's speaking, we'll cut to Mark's camera. Because otherwise, it'd be so difficult to get one out a week.
So when I say to you, how's the edit going for this show, and you go, I've been on it hours.
I'll be like, I press the button and it's currently doing it for me now.
Okay.
So if we have an hour and a half raw edit, we try to get it down to about an hour if we can. Once the software's all up and running and it does all the cuts in about 3 or 4 minutes, it's really good. I mean, I'll be out the job soon, but it's really good in the meantime.
So before we get going as well, Mark, should we just say like, subscribe, hit all the buttons, whatever it is, because it really helps the channel. And this year, obviously, since we've been with Mark as a co-host, we've grown massively, loads more streams, loads more downloads, but we want to get more engagement, more people involved, and to get your feedback on what guests to have on, what you want to hear from us, and basically give us a bit more direction with the show going forward in 2025, because we've got loads of different things that we're going to do, but it's always good to get a bit of feedback.
Yeah, and just interact. Get in the comments, hit the like button. If you're watching it on YouTube, hit the like button, drop a comment, let us know what you think to that show, let us know if there's anyone that you specifically want to get on. We're all ears are open, we'll get them on.
Mm-hmm. And then Jack will decide whether or not he's going to pay attention.
Yeah,
I always pay attention. I've told you that. I always pay attention.
So we're having a roundup. We're having a chat over the
You
year.
are so eager with those cards.
You've got your black book. So Al's been ripping me for having these little prom cards. He's now walked in today going, I've got a black book.
This is, if men remember what a black book is, that's a black book.
You got phone numbers in there and everything, Al.
There's nothing in it.
It's nothing. So let's have a little overview of the year. How do you think the year's gone? Because we've changed, haven't we, we're doing one a week now, doing a podcast a week, or putting it out at least one a week every Sunday. And we're also doing the trade talks on a Thursday. Yeah, we are. And we went from, what was you doing?
One a month when we actually started the podcast. Yeah. And then it went to one every 2 weeks.
It went to one every 2 weeks quite quickly. And we ran one every 2 weeks for at least a year, maybe 18 months. And I think we've been doing one a week now for at least a year, probably just over a year now. And that has absolutely flown by.
Yeah. We've had, so what are we on now? Episode 90?
This will be 91.
So we're near the 100 mark.
100 will be about early February if all goes according to plan.
And
thinking
that's in about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So
August 2021 was the very first episode.
Because you've thought about doing something different for the 100th, haven't you?
Not another live.
No, but just with this, you was umming and ahhing about.
Well, I think the thing is, if you don't keep trying to change or do something that's different, then I feel like you just, everybody knows the format.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the questions that you're going to ask. And I feel like 2025, we should try and do something new.
Evolve.
And then get more people involved, more guest hosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, a few ideas for it.
Yeah,
so we'll
be
see.
good. Be good. So you reckon that's Feb time, don't we?
I think it'll be about middle of Feb. That's when the 100, if everything goes according to plan, middle of Feb, about Valentine's Day, I reckon.
Oh.
That could be number 100, the Valentine's Day.
Valentine's special.
Get a good guess for that then.
Mark with 3 ladies.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, just like old times.
Yeah.
Very, very, very long time ago.
Let's get into episodes anyway first. I want to.
I've got my top 5
Come on,
guests. So we'll go top 5 shows.
No,
So-
just before we do this, anybody that is watching that's been on the show, do not get offended if we we do not say your episode, because
all the episodes are just good. Like me and Al have always said, we love just speaking to people. So there's that many episodes, that many discussion points, that many things we talked about. But these, for me, are my standout top 5.
come on then, give me.
So if I go for
are you going in order?
I'm going from 5
So
down.
I haven't ranked them in order. I've just ranked ones that I think are great episodes.
I've gone sort of 5 in order, really. My top 5. Have you, Jack? So Jack has to sit and watch all of them as we record them,
I do.
and then edit them. So you're watching them a few times.
Yeah. Top of my head, I could list 2 or 3 that were my particular, but we'll go.
So I'll start with mine. So my 5th, counting down, 5th one was the Gaff Flow Resin Floor Lads.
Good choice.
Because that was just brilliant. They just relaxed straight into it. There was Lou, Harry, Ollie and Stu. Relaxed straight into it. Lou was here. And the stories those boys had about going out and doing the resin flooring, they were in VIP queues going into Ibiza in front of celebrities. I think at one point...
Denise Van Houten?
They were in a Hummer with Sunita, and they got out, they jumped the queue past Denise Van Houten, got took in by Wayne Lineker, because they had done the floor there. I think originally they went out there for 3 weeks, didn't they?
Didn't they do the floors for Lamborghini?
Done floors for Lamborghini as well. But
They initially did the
Ibiza
Ibiza, done and dusted, but they thought, you know what? It's turned out well in terms of physically, but the design's not quite there. But the guy was happy.
Yeah.
I think they subsequently then went off to Lamborghini, and then either during or just after, the guy rang back and said, "I think you're right. We need to tweak the floor. Just tweak it?" So they went back thinking it'll be a week, 2 weeks, and they ended up being there for the summer, basically.
Yeah, it's about 4 months, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And literally live it. I think they flew the wives out, the girlfriends out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, so they were there.
I think, was that one of your earlier episodes? Because I remember you were kind of let loose.
That was start of the... Yeah.
I think that was one of the first ones,
Just by
my
yourself.
solo one that I ever did.
I remember, yeah.
I think the first one, was the first one the Home Improvement Boys?
You've done episodes not by yourself,
But
but without Al before. But I think that's the first one where it's been a full house and just
me. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. It's Home Improvements. I was still there, wasn't I?
That's right. You sat there and
You took turns. That was it.
yeah.
So is that your number 5?
That's my number 5, the Gaff Flow Lads. I just really enjoyed that. Hearing the stories, hearing just Lou, the guy that owns it. He's that guy. You know, you get that guy that just has a story about every single thing. You can go. We went to bloody Edinburgh last week. I was there once. Listen to this. He's just got a story about everything. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that one. Yeah. About you?
For me, I haven't put these in any order.
Are they not? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mine are in the top 5, but these. It's debatable.
I assume you're going to list your favourite one last, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is basically.
Yeah.
So mine are completely random here. Probably one that I really liked because I just love listening to like all the stuff behind the scenes was Bobby to Chippy. And the murder the murder story.
Yeah.
Because every now and then with the podcast, it's not so much about like the trades and stuff like that. I like to hear like just a weird story when he was talking about that person that had murdered whoever and they were just walking around still with the knives. And he said like you turn up and you look through the letterbox and you can see somebody's.
But that's the good thing, isn't it? Especially with this, is we're getting predominantly tradespeople on, but everyone has a story like that, and as soon as you get that little nugget of information off them, and you hear about that, it's completely different to where you thought it was going to go.
Because I mean, the thing with that is, there's so many people that I always talk to that go, "Oh, do you think it's too late to change trade?" And then you speak to people like Bobby, and then you understand why he's moved.
Yeah.
But to get the actual full story of like what the police face every day, because we go about our stuff and we just think the world is normal.
Yeah.
And these people are seeing murders and all the rest of it. And when he was on talking about that, I was like,
it just opens your eyes, doesn't it?
Much easier just to pick up a saw and, stay indoors.
And he seemed quite blasé about it as well. He was saying things that he saw, and
you just become desensitised.
Yeah, desensitised, that's the word.
So who have you got next then, Mark?
Have you not got, how many have you got?
Well, I didn't know we were doing this, but I could probably list my top 2 or 3.
Right, hold on then, because I'm on 5. We're on 4. My number 4
I'll join you at 3.
Okay, put the kettle on. My missus has added a little bit after this one that I've only just seen.
You leave your notes about?
Oh, yeah. So I was doing these notes in my office.
That's a bit risky.
And I've been at work today and I've just...
She just scribbled it out?
No, I'll tell you what she's put. So my number 4 episode was Darcy when she came back about the OnlyFans. Just hearing all of that about the OnlyFans. And Kaz has put, I bet it was. Ha ha ha, eye roll emoji. Bless her. Yeah, I thought the Darcy one was really good because we'd had her on before. Obviously,
it was completely different to the first.
So we led into it when she come back from Australia. But just to hear that other side of the OnlyFans stuff and to hear how open she was about it and the money involved in it was...
I just can't believe how different that first episode that she was ever on to that one was completely. It was almost like she was completely different.
Well, it was about 2 years apart, roughly.
Yeah, Darcy was very early.
Couple of years.
Early guest.
It was pre-Australia, the first one. Yeah.
And she's always one of those people that when she comes on, she's not afraid to just
open
the whole thing up, isn't she?
Yeah. And we said to her, didn't we, off camera, are you all right talking about everything? And she was like, yeah. And I think everyone wants to know about it because OnlyFans is that lucrative and so many people seem to be doing it.
Well, she said it's a growing industry. Like everyone seems to be eyeing it up.
Which is
it's easy money.
MJ Tiff.
Mate, if I was a fit bird, I'd be all over it.
Mate, there's still room for a big burly...
What, a fit guy?
Big burly man like yourself, mate.
Yeah.
So the other episode that I really liked was Luke Blue Bulldog. And the reason being for that was listening to his story about trying to just get out of his own house every day.
See, I didn't know any... I think that was the first time he ever spoke about that, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure
about
it was.
How hardcore his OCD was.
Because the amount of times just me, I go, that's my OCD, that is.
As a blatant, as a flippant comment.
As flippant, and people don't realise just how difficult it was for him when he was telling us the routine. And if he got to like the last light switch and he didn't do it correctly, he had to go back and do the whole routine. Like that just, again, blew my mind because, I know we're a trade podcast, but when somebody comes up with a story like that and then tells you how it impacts their life.
Yeah. Like it's an illness, isn't it? It is a bona fide illness, isn't it? And it is thrown around a lot where people that's my OCD.
You've got OCD, you have.
Yeah, and I think people that have genuinely got it, I wonder if they get the with it being bandied around so flippantly.
But even the comments that we had on that podcast, because there's a couple of comments talking about OCD, it's just to get the perspective of somebody that's in that. Because, like he was saying on there was no real treatment for him. It was just like, here's antidepressants. Like,
of course,
basically piss off.
Yeah, they were masking it, weren't they?
And to be fair, until he talked about it, I didn't really, because again, it's like the police thing. It doesn't cross your mind because you're not seeing it every day. So when somebody talks about stuff like that, I was like, actually, that's quite a...
But you must get that because are you is that the right word? Certified ADHD?
So I basically had to go and do a load of testing when I was about 21 because I was just like, I just want to know, because I'd forget things.
So when was that? 20 years ago? Because it weren't really
20 years ago.
It weren't really known about them, was it?
The thing was, when I was growing up, you were just a dickhead of a kid, basically, and that was it. But the main thing that sort of changed over time, which a lot of people don't realise, is. Our food has actually changed over time. It's probably got worse because of all the shit that all the companies put in there. But if they'd have just given kids probably like more healthier options to eat when they were younger. Like as soon as I sorted my diet out, started going to the gym, my ADHD got a lot more manageable.
Right.
And the other thing that you find with ADHD, you've got an addictive personality.
Yeah.
So you can struggle with substance or whatever, or booze or whatever it is. You also seem to like struggle with relationships, criticism.
Right. Okay.
So if somebody criticises you, you literally take it personal. Say if I was late to something, and I'd beat myself up about it.
Right.
Or I'd forgotten about.
You wouldn't
something.
just go, I was like, sorry about that. You'd be going over in your head.
In my head, I'm like,
I've let so and so down.
And you overwork things. Like in the end, you get to a point where you sort of, it becomes normal. So you don't question it. Right. Do you know what I mean? You think that is normal for everybody, whereas most people are just like, oh, don't worry about being late. Do you know what I mean? But in your head, you're like hammering yourself for something that nobody else really gives a shit about. But I think now there's more studies into it, but I honestly do think there's a lot of people that go, oh, I've got ADHD, so I can't do that. They use it as an excuse. Probably the worst thing I could have done with ADHD was go and study sound engineering. Yeah. Because it teaches you to like hone in on certain frequencies and sounds, and you can block out everything else and just hyper focus in on like a snare in a song or something like that. So when I'm in that mode, I can hear somebody just chewing in the background going,
and that's all you can hear then.
And I'm like,
my missus moans at me for breathing sometimes. honestly, we'll be sat watching the you know, when you're watching something, we were watching something the other night, I can't remember what it was, but you're that engrossed in it, you're in it. And obviously, I must have started breathing loud, or what she thought was loud, and we're watching it, and all of a sudden it's paused. I'm like, what's going on? And I looked, and she's just glaring at me. She went, can you breathe any fucking louder? I'm like, well, just breathe. I'm just trying to stay alive, darling.
It's funny you should mention that, because I do occasionally hear you breathe
at night,
as well as when I'm sitting behind the desk. I do sometimes. Yeah.
Because I'm a big guy, mate.
You are a big guy. You
have to keep all the oxygen going.
You are a big guy.
So you're basically saying you're siding with Kaz, siding with my missus.
I'm saying she's not incorrect. I'm saying she's not incorrect. If I was to join you at, say, the top three, I think I know what my favourite one is, and probably the second one. So
yeah, third one.
Number third, I'd probably say I did like Foxy's episode.
Yes.
I really enjoyed Foxy's episode.
But Foxy's just a massive presence.
Are you crying? Your eye is very watery.
Are they?
You're...
He's heavy breathing.
I'm not breathing now. I'm trying to keep it in, so it's making me eyes.
Mark.
Yeah. Mom, I'm not going to go into there unless you buy me that, and they just stop breathing until you buy some.
Yeah, your one lid's just very wet. Yeah. Foxy's episode.
Can I talk about being a fucking paranoid now? Paranoid of watery eyes and breathing. Mark, I'm not asking you to come on the show again.
Yeah. Foxy, number three, I'll say Foxy.
Foxy's a good one.
What did you like about Foxy's episode?
It's literally
energy.
Him. Yeah.
He's got ADHD as well.
Well, he was saying when he thinks about something, he won't stop until he learns it. So whether it's an instrument, a language.
That's right.
Yeah, he learned about 10 languages.
Yeah. And I forgot Foxy.
Speaking his Spanish. But
I think he said for him, it was because he had that kind of, not narcissism, but he wanted to sort of, if someone got a compliment for being able to do something, he thinks, oh, I want people to say that about me. So he'd learn a language, he'd learn an instrument, he'd learn anything. But his energy was...
That's a sign of ADHD, though, is consistent praise,
As in, you seek it out?
You seek... Like, you cannot stand criticism. Like, even if somebody's not even criticised, they're just like, oh, I think you should... And you've worked really hard on it. Oh, my God, like the...
Yeah, but this is what you used to get with Unilight, I suppose. You'd spend, a lot of time designing a light. Then when it gets released and people are going, that's crap. You're out.
Sorry, Jamie.
Moving on.
I should apologise to Jamie, shouldn't I, Mr. Blayton?
Why? Is this an official apology?
Yeah, I like... To be honest, I don't hate on anybody. And people used to go, I bet you hate him. And I was like, I don't, because I don't hate anyone. But to be fair, he just pissed me off, and he got both barrels. But I don't,
No ill feeling.
And if anything, if Jamie does watch this, because somebody will tell him, I actually find his videos and some of his content hilarious. Like he did I think it was like a piss take Unilight delivery where the dog had brought him a head torch or something, and basically like the dog had done a shit, and then the uni light was next to it, or something like that. It was done in a John Lewis style.
Right, okay.
So I've got to give it to him.
Is it really good?
Yeah, I
have to have a look at that.
I did quite like it, to be fair.
The olive branch is out.
Yeah.
Would you get him on?
Yeah, if he wanted to come on.
Yeah?
Him and Big Sam.
Get him on. There you go. We'll make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone's watching it, or if Jamie's watching it, reach out.
They've got their own podcast as well,
Yeah.
Electricians Podcast. And again, like we had that conversation with the Off the Job boys. I actually think that the more of these that there are, the better it is.
Yeah.
You know, so like we've had a few people on this year, haven't we? Who've done podcasts.
Yeah,
Russ.
we've had the Off the Job boys. We've had Russ.
Shooters.
Yeah. Rob's been on this year.
He's been on a couple of times.
Yeah, Rob pops in. Yeah, but like you said, there's a lot of, in the last sort of 18 months, there's a lot of trade-based podcasts that have popped up, which is great.
Yeah. And Jamie and Sam's was one of the originals, I think, for electrical, because I think Bundy used to do it first, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
There you go then.
So if you're an electrician and you want to watch something, go and watch that.
And tell Jamie I want you on the podcast.
Get him on.
Get him on.
Get him on. Come on.
So yeah, Foxy, it's a good shout that.
Foxy number 3.
It's a good shout. I hadn't forgot about Foxes.
Well, you've sort of stolen my thunder, because one of the biggest shock stories, because we get people on and they always drop out a nugget of something, and no pun intended. Foxy's one that really shocked me was his story of shitting in the bucket.
Yes. yeah.
And then having
But
to
so many people
hide,
related to that.
and then having to hide it in the van and then open it.
But it's done on site, done on building sites all the time.
Have you done it, Mark?
I've shat in a bucket. Yeah, it weren't a bucket. It was a plasterer's bag.
It was a gorilla tub.
While heavy breathing, Jack,
And crying.
and crying in the corner. No, it was a plasterer's bag. They always empty the plaster and squeeze one out into there. But it is done a lot.
Gypsum.
Yeah, it is. It's done a lot. It's a sort of a thing. It doesn't go off in your territory in the office.
In the last 6 weeks, I was busy. I was waiting to look at a property, and I was 10 minutes early, and I was on the cusp. The only thing
Number
I had,
two?
No, number one. Thankfully, number one. But
Bad as him.
But the only thing I could have, I had my gym bag in the back, and I had my really expensive water drink thing, and I thought,
Go on.
it's going to have to happen. But I waited as long as I could.
Got in the
and
house.
I've got a little 3-door, and it's tinted rear window. So I thought,
Smashed you.
if I go in the back, moving on, I'm going to have to go.
Yeah.
And I kept it afterwards because it was too good a bottle to throw away.
You weed in it?
Yeah.
And have you drank out of it since?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mate, this thing cost me about £12.
I don't care. 12, mate. I would give you £12.
You know, no. You know what? It's never
this G.
tasted better. It's never tasted. Because obviously I gave it a good scrub.
It doesn't matter what you've done, mate.
Yeah,
This is almost as bad as Pete's banjo string.
yeah.
But this is this is what we like on the podcast. These little revelations.
I held as long as I could, and I thought I've got to go. But it was a really good, solid drinks bottle.
Okay, so you
I've got it in the car now,
Okay,
if
so
you
you're
wanna go
pissing into that.
Yeah.
At what point are you going? I don't think I can
I'm
stop.
never going to ask
What?
him to pepper some of his water.
Well, why are you pissing? You must be going.
Well, thankfully, to reduce the impact, there was a bit of water left in it anyway. So it
Diluted
was less
it.
it diluted it. And it was a big 3 litre jug. So, I was never going to fill it.
Yeah, but surely when it's hitting the mark, it's 300 mil, 400 mil.
It was, but I was like, it's going to stop. It's going to stop. And it did stop. And
you
then
still got it.
It's when it leaks on the way
And then
home.
it wasn't cold outside.
So you're next level, because if I shit in a bucket or a bag, I'll throw it away. You piss in a bottle, empty it, and carry on drinking out of it.
I washed it first though, so it's fine.
Oh yeah,
I'll show you after the show.
No thanks. Yeah. There you go. This is
Number 3 then, Mark.
yeah. This is
Not number 2.
this is groundbreaking. No, 3. I'm on 3 still.
You're on 3, okay.
Yeah. So number 3 for me. This is number 3. The Halloween special with Danny Moss. Number 3.
Hang your head in shame, sir. Number 3.
How good was that episode?
Well, not good enough, apparently.
No, it was so good.
You've
you went
confused
to,
me
you
now.
went to year 2 and 1 then.
I know what one of them's going to be, but yeah, that you've
Really
stolen
good,
my.
wasn't it?
I may as well just say now that was my number 1. That
Yeah.
was my number 1.
How good was that?
It was brilliant.
Just because obviously we'd done Halloween specials before, and what I wanted to do, we'd always got dressed up and all that sort of stuff. And Halloween special, guests coming in, but it was never anything Halloweeny was spoken about. Like we had Gavin and Rob here, and it was just trade based. So I said that this year, didn't I? I said, leave it with me. I'm going to try and get someone ghostified.
Yeah.
Fair play. Reached out to Danny. I even spoke to him about it because obviously he'd done TV work, Sky and that. All of a sudden, a plumber's messaging me coming on a podcast.
Yep.
Fair play to him. Spoke to him, and he come down, and yeah, some of the stories got goosebumps in here. But it was good when
it was just a good sit back, listen to some good cool stories. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, I think it was just a really good fun.
I had a lot of people
episode.
say to me, really, they went, don't believe in ghosts at all, but really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But it was good, wasn't it? Ghost episode.
Genuinely
But yeah, he did. He
enjoyed it.
offered us to go up there and do a live podcast.
I'll send you Nathan.
Mate, don't send me anywhere with him.
You, Nathan, Jack. Jack can be there with the...
I don't want to go anywhere with him now. I'll pissy pants, Jack. Can't believe that. Can't believe it. So yeah, that's my number 3. We done your third, Al.
Third. So one that I really enjoyed because I thought she was a really good laugh on the podcast was Dee.
Yes.
Talking about Hooters.
Yeah.
Because that, again, was completely different. Now, she buggered off over to America and then... I think she was a single mom at the time, wasn't she?
Yeah, yeah. No, did she meet a guy over there?
I'm going to say
Had a
she
kid?
did meet someone over there, or she was at least over there with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her talking about the work that she did in Hooters, the money that she was making, the tips.
But again, the Hooters
she
thing,
was-
when she come out with that, we didn't know that was a part of her backstory.
Yeah.
Nor did Stan. Like, Stan reacted when he heard about it.
He loved it.
Yeah, yeah. But then again, Stan...
I think that was the quietest I've ever seen Stan.
Stan, yeah. Yeah.
So that was another
that was a good one.
another episode where
And she, funnily enough, she won Plasterer of the Year on the Tools Awards
yeah,
this year.
yeah. So well
this
done,
year?
well
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
Dee, if you're watching this.
You've made the top 3D.
Yeah.
3D.
3D.
There you go.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
But she, her episode, her as a person,
Yeah.
was like I really enjoyed that, and that random story of Hooters because you forget about who it's not really a thing anymore, is it?
No.
But talking to her about what she did when she was younger, before she became a plasterer.
Yeah.
And she came into it quite late in life again, didn't she? She was past 30, I think, and just thought,
Complete change
I'll
of
do it.
career.
Yeah.
But you're getting a lot of that now. A lot of
She
people
worked for
coming into it.
somebody else, didn't she? She learnt off another guy
Yeah.
who took her under his wing, and then she went out doing her own jobs, didn't she?
Yeah.
What
Right
about you then?
So we've done my number 3. So my number 2 then is the Laura Clark episode. I really enjoyed that.
Have you noticed the theme there?
What?
It's all the ones he did on his own.
Yeah, it is. Hang on. Yes. No. Yes. Yeah. It is. I've got a special one for you.
Anything without Al.
Yeah, no, the Laura Clark one. I think what was so good with the Laura Clark one was because she'd done TV and everything like that, it just flowed. It was just really easy, really chatty. And again, in that one, we opened up, as soon as we started chatting away, all of a sudden, she tells us, or I'd done some research on it actually, and found out that she did MMA fighting, kickboxing.
Yeah.
Then she was having a fight, or not a fight, she was having a to-do with the builder that was building
The
a
cowboy
job,
builder.
The cowboy builder.
I wonder if that's actually settled now, because that was still ongoing at the time.
Yeah. And then obviously talking about the toilet thing that she did in Crystal Palace and that. But yeah, she was really, really good. You know when you can just...
The toilet thing.
The toilet thing. You know when you can just throw someone in and they'll go and they're dead easy to... It was just a really enjoyable...
Yeah.
a
You
really
could have
enjoyable
spoken to her
podcast.
for 2-3 hours.
Oh,
I think you did
easily.
actually speak to her for 2 or 3 hours.
We even mentioned about Rubik's Cubes. We did randomly Rubik's Cubes on that one.
I did. I don't know whether that made the final edit or not.
Oh,
I
did it not?
apologise if it didn't.
But yeah.
Well, it's because you spoke to her for at least 2 hours, and I thought we've got to get this
I
down.
do get carried away a little bit chatting
You do
away.
get a little bit carried away.
Are you wasting time? I think that some of you probably are, and I have a solution for you. Nobody wants to do any type of admin. Now, I have a solution for you, and it is called Tradify. It's a fully automated job scheduling, invoicing, and quoting all in one place. Now, that software is going to save you 12 hours a week, and all by using a simple software solution. Now, you can try it for 2 weeks, absolutely free, no cards needed, and you'll even get support in person from Tradify themselves. Now, when you're done, you can always come back to me and thank me, but just enjoy the extra 12 hours that you're going to gain from just using the software.
But yeah. What about you, Al? Number 2?
Screed Papi.
Yeah, Joe.
So I quite like. It's almost like an underdog story, isn't it? Where somebody comes back from being, obviously he talked about again another person who opened up quite a lot. I think.
Yeah.
On the show, where talking about his battle with drink and almost losing his family and work not going very well and stuff like that. And I felt like listening to his story, and then when he went to that, what was it, Wake Fest or wherever it was.
That's right, yeah, and found himself, didn't he?
And basically listened to that song, and then sort of turned his life around. Like I love stories
It's
like
that
that.
sliding doors moment, isn't it?
Yeah, where I think people sort of get that epiphany and then think life doesn't have to be like this, and something happens and they change for the better.
Yeah.
So I felt like that episode actually was quite interesting to hear, again, from an experience that I've never been through myself, whereas I know probably some of the people that are listening and watching to it are probably in that scenario now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's quite a lot of people within the trades that are in, whether it be drugs, alcohol, or whatever. I think that is quite a rife thing within the trades, isn't it?
I mean, I all the ones that I sort of put on here, apart from probably D, are like things where they're quite emotive.
Yeah.
I like a story where it's like, I'm not saying everybody's got to have something happen or they've been run over or they've lost somebody or whatever it is, but I find those are probably the shows that I take something from it, because I think, do you know what? There's me moaning about my day.
Yeah.
And actually, this person that sat next to me, the stuff this person's been through, and yet they're still here talking about what they've been through.
Yeah.
And I'm moaning about, my car doesn't work.
Trees in the garden. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It puts everything into perspective, and it's probably one of the main reasons I love doing this, because I feel like, okay, I want to get people on and talk about them in the trade and like trade tips and stuff like that, but I also want anybody listening or watching to go, I can relate to that. And that story's helped me, or I've learned something off them, or I've reached out to them because they're in the same situation. So I always think if you can just do that for one person, I think it really helps. So.
That was like the On the Tour. It's not on my list, but it was a brilliant episode, the On the Tools one, with Lee and Chris. And,
Project 7000.
And James here. When Chris Tomine Stone was... I didn't realise how recent his... I'm going to say relapse was, where he nearly...
Well, the thing
it
is...
was like 2 or 3 months ago, wasn't it?
Well, the thing is with Chris as well is Chris is the kind of guy, big guy, I think ex-rugby player, wasn't he? Also,
He almost went professional, but I think his injuries got in the way.
And most people just think, what's he going to be moaning about? But they don't actually see the other side of, what's the pain somebody's carrying. And again, that's why when I was listening to Joe talk about his stuff, I was like, he just puts so much into perspective for you.
Yeah.
I'll go home and I'm moan, kids are making noise, or blah, 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 or the kettle's boiling and it's, I'm raging.
Overstimulating you.
Yeah, other people, and the same
Been through a
with
massive-
Chris, because when we had him on the first time, obviously he mentioned, I think, touched on a little bit of that stuff, but you fleetingly speak to people occasionally, so you don't understand sometimes if somebody hasn't replied to you or you haven't spoke to them, what's going on.
And that's when Chris said about it, and then it clicked in my head. It's really obvious, but from the last time he was on to now, he tried to commit suicide. He might not have even got here. Mm-hmm. And when you just sit and you go, shit. And
Because you always assume that it was a trauma that happened a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. You never
Whereas
think it was
2
literally
months.
since I've last seen you.
Yeah. And that sort of made me go, wow, bloody hell. So, what about you, Jack? Number 2?
Similar realm, it would be the one we've just had go out, which was Nathan N. Plumber.
So he's my number 1.
He's your number one. I thought,
Because he almost brought you close to...
Oh, that episode. I mean, obviously...
Just a bit of background for this. Mark's been trying to get a guest on.
This sounds really bad now, what are you going to say?
To really open up, because I think Mark wants to be like... I don't know. Who's the person that gets everyone to cry?
Stephen Bartlett.
No, it's Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan always goes for the tears.
Yeah. So Mark's always wanted to get really emotive with somebody, and then I think you met your match, didn't you?
Yeah, it done me. And it done me because just if anyone hasn't watched it, then obviously we'll link. Jack will hate me for that. We'll link all of these videos into the description. I was going to say he's going to put bits of them during the show, but I'm not that bad.
You can put little bits in there as well.
Yeah, we can put clips or links in the top or whatever. But
You can even put a picture of this shaker in there.
Mate, I'm going to put it on the shelf next episode. Mark,
you should
right
bring
in
it
your eye line.
Drop in the
There is-
comments if you think Jack should
Dispose of.
Yeah, dispose of the water bottle.
Can we start a GoFundMe for Jack?
A new bottle. I only need about
You need one of the big
£14.
Stanley Cups, you know, the big Stanley Cups?
Yeah.
One of them. But yeah, Nathan's one, obviously, if you haven't seen it, 27-year-old lad, started off with a pain in his back, and it turns out it was a tumour that turned into...
It was 3 tumours.
3 tumours that turned into...
tumours.
Was it I forget.
I think it was the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah, which, you know, battered him. So he sort of put out there publicly 6 months ago his a video, just done a video, a selfie video within a few hours of being diagnosed it. But it was so powerful, that video. I'd seen it before, and then while we was talking about it on the podcast, I went to talk about it, and I said, you know what, I'm going to watch it. So I sat and watched it here. And I think what done it for me was sitting and watching that, because Nath recorded it as the day he found out, and he had all his hair and his beard and everything like that. But 6 months later, he sat opposite me with no hair.
You wouldn't recognise him.
No,
You would
everyone
not
that's seen it
recognise
has said to me,
him.
is that
He
the
had a
same
beard
guy?
as well, didn't he?
Full beard, full 27 years it took him to grow that beard. Full ginger beard, hair. But to sit and watch it in front of you there and to look to the side and see him how he is now. And then when it finished, I was just fucking done, mate. Properly done.
You
mate.
look like you were ready to go.
Oh, mate, I had to have a bit of a moment, because it's the thing with any illness like that, you relate back to people you know with it, and what you were saying earlier recently, and especially with cancer and my dad and all that, it's just it brings it home. And then when it's the chance of 1 in 2 people are going to get it, and that can be the outcome of it, it just properly nailed me. But yeah, you enjoyed that one as well, Jack.
Yeah, I don't know if enjoy. We said this afterwards. I don't know what word you'd use other than I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
It's quite. The statistics were quite scary. I did look into, though, to make yourself feel a little bit better. Well, I'll say a little bit better. The 1 in 2 statistic. I think that only really comes into play after the age of about 60.
46, mate.
3 years.
But obviously, that's bad. The 1 in 2 is bandied around without that sort of asterisk.
Yeah. 'Cause when he said that, I thought...
because it's a shocking figure, but it's put out there to
50%.
be a shocking figure, isn't it?
50%.
Yeah.
That's quite scary. Yeah. So that would be my number 2, and I've spoken to him since, and I think he's about.
It's halfway through the radiation now.
He's just over halfway. I think it finishes just after Christmas.
27th, I think.
Yeah.
Because ideally wanted it to be done before, but they had to postpone the start, didn't they?
But luckily, that story had an happy ending.
Spoiler
so
alert.
far. Yeah.
yeah, I have spoke to him as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my number 2. That'd be my number 2.
Yeah, who's my number 1 with that? Number 1 now.
I'd got him on the.
Had you? Yeah.
I just don't like.
So what's interesting? So you would have watched that? Not obviously you weren't here when it was done.
My thing of starting the podcast was I always just wanted to get to know the people that I talk to on social media. I haven't really talked to him. Obviously, I've seen the videos and stuff like that and seen people share certain bits, but I always just enjoy somebody being so open and honest. And then especially, like I say, if somebody's listening or watching, they might be going through something similar, or they might be waiting on results, or they might have a wife that's ill, or the husband's ill, or the kids are ill. And I just feel like sometimes they can take a bit of hope from listening to somebody else, or they get a bit of inspiration, or they think, my situation's not that bad. And when you get episodes on like that, where they're sort of like, they're quite hard hitting, and it's not something that everybody talks about, like you said about Chris talking about his almost, fatal suicide, and him thinking about killing himself. All of these things are not things that you talk about during the year. Everyone's so busy with their head doing, their own thing and thinking about themselves and whatever, that you don't, especially this time of year as well, you don't stop to think about other people, because life's so stressful. You're trying to go food shopping, everyone's in there, you're trying to get presents for the kids or whatever it is.
It's just manic.
So I always think like episodes like that where we do them and they're not sometimes nice things to discuss or they're not easy things to talk about. I always think they're things that people should talk about. And, you know, like we do episodes for mental health, which don't always get the views and they don't get the likes and whatever. But like I said, even if you do one of them, it gets 100 views, but one person thinks, actually...
I'll make that phone call.
I'll make that phone call or whatever, which will probably put some numbers and bits and pieces because it's Christmas time. Again, Jack, another, you know, for mental health charities or even like the contact details for Russ and for Rob because they help people with that sort of stuff. I just think, you know, those types of episodes, I think are probably...
necessary.
Yeah.
No, but I think they're different to others.
They just let people know that everyone's in the same... Not everyone's in the same boat, but you're
More
not
than
the
you
only
think.
one. You're not the only one with issues going on.
But you can relate to that pain. Do you know what I mean? Especially me now, like I've got 3 kids at home. He's got kids.
Yeah.
You know, imagine having to have that conversation with your kids.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether that was Christmas, whenever. You know, having to sit your kids down and say, you know, Dad's not very well.
Yeah.
And then potentially have to prepare your family for you not being there and thinking, I'm never going to get to see you got a daughter. I'm never going to get to give her away, or I'm never going to get to see my son play football or whatever. It's emotive stuff. And I feel like, you know, we've started the podcast and then these things happen and you're happy that you've done this.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
that makes any sense.
If anyone watches it, then, you know, them episodes, them mental health episodes, like you say, if one person takes something away from it, it's done the trick, hasn't it? Number 1, Jack.
It would have been the Halloween one.
Oh, would it?
Would have been the Halloween one.
Oh, he's got number 1 for the Halloween one.
I know. Purely just for the entertainment.
Yeah.
Purely just because it was...
I mean, the other one that I did have on there, but I didn't know where it snuck in to just over a year was the Roger episode, Bisby.
Bisby.
Mm-hmm. And the reason being with him was not so much... Like, Roger's a really good talker, but it was the knowledge. So that's complete opposite to all the other ones, was the knowledge that guy had. And then it was Dan, wasn't it, who did the
carpentry...
carpentry tools.
the hanger.
Like
I don't know what the word for it is.
Which one?
It was the roof.
It was the... This, you can tell
Roofing
I'm not
square
trade
down.
related.
Roofing
Square down. Yeah.
But I just felt like Roger, like when you talk to him about anything, he was like a walking encyclopedia, that guy.
Yeah.
He'd just been there and done it.
Again, it's someone that's just got a story or can comment on every single thing.
Yeah.
But there's been a few. There's been. I enjoyed the tool theft one with Schweb, and I think it was just before. Was it just before or just after we done the tool theft rally?
The debate
No,
episode,
not the
or
debate
the one where you all
episode.
just get together?
Yeah, the one where you got together. I think there was Schweb and Pointy. And I enjoyed that one. The same as like the one with
He needs a big shout out, Schweb.
Schweb. What Schweb's done this year with the tool theft thing, and even now, the traction it's gaining, and now with the select DNA thing and the tool marking stuff, and the guy's been relentless with it. And just being with him over a period of time, his phone is constantly going with the Met Police ringing him, with companies ringing him, with van companies ringing him. But yeah, he's
done really well.
He's done really
But
well.
even all those, because you know we had that Jamie Taylor on that I interviewed with podcasts. And
Yeah.
like all these people that are putting themselves out there to create content and have these shows and whatever. I just think it's like the last year it really took off.
Yeah.
You know, we've got companies like On the Tools doing their stuff and Fix Radio, but now you're getting individuals that are getting involved in. You know,
Yeah, they do even the ones that even like the Instagram ones where they're doing you know, a couple of hours or whatever, like the CCL one with Alex the Viking and all that. You know,
Danny Madden, yeah.
Everyone's doing a little something, and it's just nice that the whole industry is becoming more relatable for everything. You know, the like I say, the electricians got their one, the off the job boys. There's because it's Kieran and Pete. It's predominantly more. I think it's predominantly more plumbing based, but obviously it's opened up to everyone. But yeah, I mean, going into 2025 with what we want to do, we've got a few ideas. We've got a few. Do you know what I thought would be really good to do? I don't know if we'll put it out. Is try and get. I think we spoke about was try and get famous people that are or were tradespeople.
Who was the rugby league guy on Twitter? There's a guy who's a rugby league player that follows you, and he former rugby league player. He's from like Warrington.
Oh
Wigan or
yes,
something.
yeah. I know
He's
the
a
one.
plumber.
Yeah. And then you've got like Dion Dublin, ex-footballer.
Well,
now does the
I tried
homes
to
under
get
the
someone
hammer.
in a few weeks ago, but the cheeky buggers wanted paying
Yeah,
for
you're
it.
going to say who it was? You're going to call them out?
Well, it's a particular boy band, and this time of the year, they always rear their heads up for
All four
a particular
heads.
song. Four heads.
Four heads.
Yeah.
Baby, if you got to go away.
Keep singing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going into next year, we said to the off the job boys, didn't we? We said maybe we do sort of a paintball thing with them versus us, so we get some guests of ours on for our team, and
I think we
they'll
just
do
need to
theirs.
have more days out where people that have been on or people that haven't can all come and get involved with what we do.
Yeah, definitely. And I've always wanted to do not a live, but film it live and not put it out live
Well, we'll do one at the brewery.
at the brewery. So yeah, so the beers that we have on, ironically, no one's got any. Church Farm Brewery do the beers for the show, and obviously you've got the Plumber's Plonk. What is there? Plumber's Plonk, Carpenter's Wood,
Builder's Crack,
Bright Sparks.
Bright
Bright
Sparks,
Sparks.
and
The Trade Legends.
the self-titled one. I
Trade
don't know what
Legends
else
one.
to call it. The self-titled one. Yeah.
So they're like 10 mile from here or so, but it was a place where I used to work as a milkman.
As a milkman.
Back in the day. But they've got a big area outside, so I think we could go up there and do something in the future. What else have we got? We got anything else?
Is this where we go to final thought?
Well, I don't have a final
Jerry
thought.
Springer's final thought.
Your final thought? What? About what? How are we final thoughting?
I don't know. This is a bit beyond my purview. This isn't it? Sorry, that's a big word. Outside my comfort zone. Let's put it that way. I don't really.
Final thoughts? No, I just think it's been a really good year. Really good year. Some amazing guests. Some very good guests.
It's gone very quick.
Massively quick.
2024 has gone very quick. My thing is just help support the channel, and also, if you can, just check in on other people at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Especially like now, money's tight, inflation, whatever it is, people are stressing about certain things. Just say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
And
because
that's
Christmas is all. It's a great time of year, but also it's a very stressful
Well,
time.
you've
of
got
year
the
for
other
people.
podcast going out about Christmas carnage.
Oh yeah, so that will have already gone out. Well, that's going out this Sunday.
That would have been
isn't it?
out the week before.
So if you
they're watching
haven't
this
seen
now.
it,
Yeah.
the previous podcast to this was we recorded for tradespeople the build up to Christmas. I've had it literally today. What today? Thursday. I've had a nightmare day today. And
Well,
yesterday.
you think, for example, plumbers, you're going to
Yeah.
get somebody Christmas Eve
Yeah.
whose boiler's gone down.
Yeah.
And, you're going to go, I'll come back in January. You're going to feel that guilt
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go out and try and get somebody's heating on.
You very rarely find a plumber that will say no.
So that's the thing is this time of year, it's stressful.
Yeah.
I'll just say, support the channel,
Yeah.
but also go and support each other.
Yeah. Drop a comment, hit the like button, get subscribed.
Ding, 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 ding.
I remember. I might put that in at the
And
end.
also drop in the comments how you think we should do the 100th episode.
Oh, yeah,
Al's
good
got
ideas
some,
for
Al's got
100
some
episodes.
ideas. Al's got some ideas what he wants to do with the brand, if you like. But yeah, 100
That's
episodes.
a lot of episodes. That's crazy to think I've edited 100 episodes.
Well, you haven't now. You've just you told us that you just press a button and 3 minutes later it's done.
Okay, that's I'll
So
rephrase.
you've
It's
probably
crazy to
edited
think that
20.
100 episodes have been edited.
Yeah.
That's
Better.
a lot of episodes
Better.
that are on now on our channel.
When I first started it, I honestly didn't think we'd get to 100.
Did you not? You
Oh,
thought it
yeah,
was going to be
I just started it to see what would happen. And then weirdly, I think the longer it's gone on, we've got better at the format, better at interviewing guests, but
Tweet
also
bits.
having the right guest on
Yeah.
and getting the right stuff
And also
out.
shout out to the guest hosts that we've had. We've had a few. Who've we had? We've had Liam.
Ash Mahoney's done
Ash has done a few. Dave Alwood.
We've had
Rob.
Nick.
Schweb,
Schweb.
Liam, the plumber.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
had
we've had
Bundy,
a
obviously.
few.
We've had
Yeah, we've had a
Bundy,
few.
Rye.
Roy Davis. Yeah. No, shout out to all.
PB Plumber. He used to
Yeah,
host a
Pete
couple
used to
back
do
in
a
the
bit.
day.
Big shout out to Pete.
Yeah, he used to do a few now and again.
Did I interview Pete? I think I did,
Yeah,
didn't I?
very
First episode, wasn't it?
It was.
yeah.
Yeah. That first filming. Yeah, and then I think he interviewed you.
So the first episode, was it?
It was introducing. Actually, it may have been like 3 or 4 episodes later, but we filmed it on the same day.
and then you had Joe from Church Farming.
Yeah,
Joe, Nathan, and then Louis from
and
Fix
then
Radio.
from Fix.
Yeah. Time flies. 3 years ago that would have been.
3.5 years.
Nearly 3.5.
We'll be 4 years as a podcast next August.
August, yeah.
But yeah, no, it'd be good. Little roundup of the year.
God, I've been here 4 years.
And what I'll take from this podcast today is watch out what you're drinking when Jack's about.
Never share a cup with me.
Cannot believe that, mate. Genuinely.
I'll show you it.
Even
right
G was like, what?
Mark, 1 by 1 shaker.
Why didn't you go to the back of the building?
Well, because there was like a terrace. So it was like mine was the middle property, and I was about a quarter of an hour
If you'd
early.
have gone in someone's garden, someone would have been like, that's a big name in the garden.
It's not a fishing rod he's holding.
How long? So you said that you were there were
pulled
10
up early.
You said you was 10 minutes early.
I was more than 10 minutes early.
So how long after finishing that?
Why didn't you just
did
drive
they
to the
get there?
countryside and just get
Because it was awkward. I arrived, let's say, half an hour early because it was down in Evesham, so I didn't know how to judge the timing. So I thought I'll get there in plenty of time.
Do you not know how sat-nav works? That tells you.
I do, but you got traffic as well. Anyway, I got there early,
and toilet stops.
and I was fine for 10 minutes. Then I thought, okay, it's knocking on the door, but it's okay because when I go in and have a look around, I'll just say, "Can I use the
Were
bathroom?"
people in that house, living in that house?
It was vacant.
You could see him. He's knocking. Knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah, that's like the reconnaissance. I was like, glove box? No, nothing in there. I was like, okay.
But you were sat outside the house.
No, I was just in my car
Okay.
looking at the house,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, they're going to be here in 15. I'll wait. And then it got really bad, and I thought, I literally can't wait for the
So you
estate
probably had a
agent to
window
arrive.
of like 5 minutes of them arriving while you're pissing in the bottle.
I think I pissed in the bottle about 10 minutes to the hour, so I had 10 minutes to just relax and be like, oh, the shame. Now it's got to be
But
the
what?
property.
So what did you do with it? Did you emptied it
No,
out?
I put it in the back of the... No, because there's houses around me. I
So
can't
you
just
didn't
be
even
like,
empty it out.
well, I can't because there's people there who they're watching.
No, if you pissed in a bottle, you can just open the door and this.
No,
much
this is a
and pour it
really,
out.
this is a really,
This is a really
I know where you
good
live. This
feel.
is a really nice, affluent area. I'm not going to
Just
potentially
You've
be
just got
new
your
to the
sack
area.
out in the back of the smash truck.
Yeah, you're just pissing in the smash truck.
tinted
Yeah,
windows,
You,
they
you
can't
won't
see
open
it.
the door and just pour it out. Instead, you go, I'm going to leave that in my car
yeah.
for
There's
how long?
There's a complaint at the police that somebody was teabagging a shake.
How long was it in your car for?
15, 20 minutes, nothing.
On that
15,
No,
20 minutes.
How long was the bottle in your car for?
Oh, as in, I did,
How long
after I did the
after-
business.
yeah, after you looked at
I
the
did
house and
I
did
did
the
the business, came back, drove home, so 45 minutes, an hour.
Oh, and then you emptied it out?
Yeah, I went home and just
Of
washed
course,
it.
you're not an animal, are you? Of course
Yeah.
you did. You emptied it
I'm
out
not
when you
gonna-
got
I
home.
may have been living there.
Mom,
I'm
can
not
you
gonna-
wash this for me?
Yeah. Did you get Jeeves to wash it out for you?
And on that
No
note, I'm
comment.
going to
Yes, how's off? I just can't believe the audacity of the guy. Pissing.
It's a nice bottle. I'm not throwing that
Buy
away.
another one.
It's a good bottle.
Fucking animal. You've changed.